Have you built a great American business? What if you could take that business and that expertise and help hundreds or thousands of other people become successful in your field while you yourself earn a semi-passive, long-term income? Here at Instone, we help successful people help others become successful. It all started 10 years ago when I founded Junk Doctors Junk Removal and Hauling and built it into a multi-truck, multi-location company that makes several $1,000,000 a year. We took that expertise and we formed Junk Removal Authority, which has helped hundreds of people become junk removal business owners and become more successful in junk removal. Now, here at Instone, we're going to take that JRA model and we're going to replicate it in your industry. If you have just a few hours a month and you think you have what it takes to help hundreds or thousands of other people become successful, and you desire a long-term, semi-passive residual income, all you got to do is click on the link and let's find out if Instone and you are a great fit. What's up, everybody? It's Lee over here at Junk Removal Authority, where we help junk removal business owners make more money and live a better life. Today is Tuesday and it's 12 noon Eastern time, which means it's time to talk a little junk on Let's Talk Junk. If you guys are looking to grow your junk removal business, whether you just got in business or you've been in business for years, make sure you check out our junk removal marketing services, website development, Google Ads management, search engine optimization. We have an entire team specialized in just junk removal. So all we do is junk removal businesses with that team, and we have helped over 150 junk removal companies throughout the country become successful. We hope that you are number 151. So check it out, 919-617-1975, or head on over to junkra.com. All right, so today we got kind of a fun topic today. It's related to your junk removal business, but it's really related to business as a whole. It's talking about abundance, a mindset of abundance. So what is abundance? Abundance, the definition of abundance is a very large quantity of something. Now, so what is the opposite of abundance? You can have on one scale, you've got abundance. On the other side of the scale, you're going to have scarcity. Scarcity, on the other side, is basically a limited supply of something. So, many individuals, business owners and non-business owners alike, believe that there is a finite amount of anything out there, finite amount of money, of success, of customers, of employees. They believe that everybody is fighting over the same amount. So if you take, they think, all right, there's only $1 million out there. So if you have 10 people, you know, the only value they're going to be able to get, the only amount anybody's going to be able to get is a million bucks. But that's not the case. By one set of individuals doing better, everybody else is going to do better, and that's what abundance is. So you have two different sets of mindsets. You have the saver, the guy that says there's a limited amount, I have to make do with what I have, and then you have the abundance, which is the gal that can actually go out and says, you know what, I know what I want, I just need to go out into the marketplace and find a way to make it happen. Income, money is kind of the largest topic most people talk about. You know, what do you consider to be a great income right now? You know, what do you consider to be the income that you're going after? Back 10, 12 years ago when I was working at a roller skating rink, I was 18, 19, 20 years old. And, you know, I'd have thought, hey, if I get to $50,000 in income, I've got it set. At $50,000, I'm making pretty good money. And then once you hit that threshold of 50,000, it kind of became 100. And you set like these targets, these individual targets and milestones, which is great. But what a lot of people do is eventually they'll reach whatever that target is, and then they'll just stop stretching. They've got this scarcity mindset. They've got this kind of block internally that says, you know what, I can't make more than this, or I've gotten to this amount and this is all that I really need to make. And that's when a lot of business owners and employees alike, a lot of them really come up short. So this goes to another concept, which is, are you a saver or an investor? There's a few different base concepts we're going to get set right here, but a saver is an individual that's just going out there just trying to accumulate more money. An investor is somebody that's trying to take the money they have and the resources they have, the time they have, and really multiply it. So I'll give you a couple examples. let's do non-business related. Let's do some on your personal side. So on the personal side right now, we've got a couple things. My wife and I have a few things that we've got going on. One, we're getting ready. We're going through planning, building a house. So we're going through the house planning phase. And we started talking about this house a year and a half ago. So we knew kind of what we wanted. The house is going to be a couple $1 million. It's going to sits on 2 acres of land. It's got a large garage. I'm thinking about getting back into racing, so it's got a large garage. It's got a pool outside, all the things inside. I got a gigantic, or not gigantic, but a big library in my house. It's going to have wooden shelves that go all the way around. So it's just kind of this dream that we've been putting together over the last 5 or 10 years. But a few years ago, I didn't have the income to support getting that home. So we had to figure out, all right, so we want to do this. We're not going to sit here and save. I'm not going to save 20 years and put everything I saved into a house. I'm just not going to do it. If we're going to go into something like this, we need to find a way to get the income to get the house. So we went out in the marketplace and did it. We're going to talk about how you can do the exact same thing and how the abundance concept really works here shortly. Vacation. Some of you guys, right now we're looking at doing a vacation. We got a vacation to Italy going on, one to St. John's. Maybe you've got something that you'd like to do, short of just going to a beach. You want to travel somewhere out of the country. Maybe it's going to cost $15,000 to do it or whatever. So, and maybe your wife wants to do it. Maybe she comes to you, or your husband comes to you and they says, hey, I want to do something that's going to cost a lot of money. You don't necessarily just shut it down right off the bat. You say, okay, well, that's great. We're not there, but what are we going to do to be able to get it? How are we going to be able to get that money to actually accomplish it? And then you put a plan down and you go out and work it. And that's part of the abundance principle. There's plenty to be had, of stuff to be had out there. You don't have to take the amount of resources that you currently have and decide what you're going to spend that on. You're going to say, all right, I've got this resources. What can I spend that on, and what can I do time-wise to go out and multiply this and get more? And this is one of the key things on being a successful business owner. One of the main concepts that's completely related to this is when you purchase something, do you look at how much something costs and make a buying decision strictly based on price? Or are you actually looking at what value can be provided by what you're getting? So, for example, if you're looking at a junk removal truck, you got a couple different options. Junk Doctors, our junk removal company, we've got 14, 15, just 2 more trucks on order. So by the end of the next 2 months, we'll be a 16 truck operation in 3 different cities within North Carolina. And we built our business off of used junk removal trucks. The first 6 trucks we got were used. The first one we did great on, made great money on that first one. The second and the third we had issues with. The fourth we had some issues with. The 5th was okay, and the 6th, actually the 5th was a new one, so it was 5 out of the first 6. The 6th truck did okay. So it was kind of hit and miss, but the only reason we went with the used route, at least after the first 2 trucks, we had no credit history at all. That is the route we had to go. We didn't have enough money to go new. Couldn't borrow. We were too young, had no credit history whatsoever, just never borrowed money before. But after that, the only reason we went with used trucks is I couldn't fathom spending $60,000 on a junk removal truck, on a new vehicle. Because all I was looking at was the price tag of this $20,000 and this $60,000 truck. I wasn't considering the fact, when you get a used truck, one, at some point it's going to break down. Which, at some point a new truck will also, but a used truck is going to break down more often. So not only are you missing out on the income for that day, not only do you have to pay the repair costs of the vehicle, but you miss out on the income of that day. You create an environment where your team members just don't feel as satisfied, as safe, because they feel like they're in an older vehicle that's not reliable. It might break down on the side of the highway and they have to pull over. They got cars whizzing by at 80 miles an hour. The team members aren't comfortable. Air conditioning doesn't work as good. Just things in that truck just break down. The seats aren't as comfortable. Whatever it might be. They just don't feel like they're being given the good equipment to really do an excellent job. And if the business owner isn't investing in them, why should they go above and beyond for the business owner? Then you got, all right, if we're going to keep rolling here, we're going to have a rental truck cost. If we're going to stop doing business, which is a bad idea, then at that point we're going to miss out not only on customers, immediate customers, but long-term customers. And then, all right, now let's look at the fact junk removal trucks, they don't depreciate a ton. They pretty much depreciate immediately. Junk removal truck will almost depreciate as a percentage of miles. So what I mean by that is proportional to the miles you put on it. If you go out and you buy a junk removal truck, let's just say it's 60 grand. It's going to be more than that now, but just keep the math easy. Let's say it's $60,000. Right, let's do it accurately. It's almost 70. Let's say it's 70,000. It's going to be somewhere between 65 and 70. Let's say 70,000. 70,000 for a new junk removal truck. If you went out and you looked for a junk removal truck that's 5 years old, that has about 100 to 150,000 miles, say 150,000 miles, you're going to be about 30 to 35,000 on that truck. These trucks are only good generally, as a general rule, for 300,000 miles. The gas one's actually a little bit less. The gas one's about 200 to, say, 250, about 250,000 miles. So you've essentially bought a truck that is half used up for half the cost. Whereas if you go buy another vehicle that is just like a regular car, you're going to drive that thing off the lot and it's going to lose a lot of money. These things are in enough demand out there, they just hold their value really, really well. I wasn't considering that when I was looking at purchasing this. All I was looking at was the price tag. Recently, a year and a half ago, nobody went to an event last year, but we attended an event, and myself, Christian went, bought a ticket for Shane. So it was three of us that went there, and it cost us somewhere around $8,000 or $9,000 for those three tickets. You add in the hotel costs and all like that, it was over 10 grand for three of us to go down to this event. It was a 3-day event that was put on. 95% of it I already knew. I was bored through part of it, but there was a few little pieces of information in there that has probably, there's no telling how much we've made off of it. Hundreds of thousands of dollars based off, it was like two concepts that I hadn't ever thought about. It jogged my memory. So I went to a 3-day event, spent 3 days worth of time on this event, listened, it's actually probably 99% of it I already knew. I was bored a large percentage of the time. And then something hit, just a random little 2-minute segment in that event gave us an idea on fixing a problem and moving into an opportunity that we might never have discovered or might not have discovered nearly as fast without going to that event. $10,000 investment, felt like we wasted a lot of that time and that money, was not, because it developed into hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of success. Our business package is kind of the same way. Guys come through us and say, you know what, we knew a lot of the stuff. A lot of it's common sense, but there's some great things, some mistakes we're missing out on, the operation manuals we're getting, the successes, some of these great ideas you guys have had we never come up with. So just, there's 20% of it that we found to be way worth the amount we paid. So look at the value you're getting out of something, not so much the cost. Further on the business end of things, if you tie back in, I don't know if you guys saw the advertisement at the start of this live show, but we've created another company called Nth Zone. It's been in the works for the past 6 months, and even though we still are exclusively junk removal now, except we do a little bit of ads for a junk removal company that owns a moving business, and then another one that owns a roofing business, as we're kind of exploring some other industries. We are taking this JRA model that we've built and we're expanding it into other industries by finding somebody like me that has built a successful company, partnering with them, building out a team, getting in there and actually studying their business, studying their marketing, understanding their business, doing some marketing for free in some of these industries for a period of time, or at least a very discounted rate. Once it's understood, we have the formula, then we expand out into it while we use the master guide. Or why we partner with the master guide. The master guide in turn earns a great semi-passive long-term income. We, on the other hand, continue to expand out Nth Zone, providing help for business owners throughout the country and taking it away from just a marketing agency concept, which we've never considered us to be a marketing agency, to a industry support service, your business support service through and through. Every single part of your business we want to understand and be able to help you with. And that's how Nth Zone is going to kind of work. Well, in order for us to do Nth Zone, we have to commit to it. We got to get in there and we have to go out and find these master guides. Find these people that are successful. Find these people that are willing to get in front of camera and talk to people. And have built a business that can run without them. that can accomplish the same things that we're helping 150 junk removal companies throughout the country do right now in their particular industry. So in order to get these master guides, again, we've got to commit. So one of the things we're doing right now with Inso making not a single dime of revenue is we have to go out and we have to get an affiliate salesperson. We have a support person. We got to get an individual that's going to come in here and they're going to earn a decent base, and then they're going to be tied in on a commission. They might make eventually might make a few $100,000 a year maybe. That individual has to be brought in and they have to be given the authority and held responsible for getting these master guides. That person right there is going to cost probably a 60 grand base, and then could be $100,000s of dollars worth of income. But without that individual, we don't get the much larger amount of income from the other industries as we grow Inso. And when we don't get that larger amount of income, that means there's jobs that don't get filled. There's individuals out there that could be working here that aren't because we haven't taken the steps necessary to build that business out. Absolutely required. Right now, you might be thinking about on your books. As you grow, a bookkeeper is a very important position. As you start out, first until you get at least $1 million a year, and probably even more, you can use a fractional bookkeeper. But as your company grows, as you get multiple locations, as things become more complex, if you add more services, you want to understand what each division of your company makes. So we haven't done an extremely good job with that at JRA. We've done minimum bookkeeping, and we have ideas of what each department makes, but there could be one department that isn't making money and it's getting picked up by another one, and that's dragging the entire company down potentially. So right now we've got a position open for a full-time bookkeeper that's going to do truck body stuff as well as junk removal stuff. That individual isn't going to directly go out and get more business for us. They're not going to directly increase our income, but I guarantee you there's things that are in those books, in those numbers, where we're wasting money, so they're just going to earn the company more money. And also, by understanding your numbers thoroughly, you know in what areas you need to improve and what areas you need to focus on and expand on because it's working right. So that bookkeeper is going to earn money. That bookkeeper might cost $65,000, $70,000. But they're going to come in and they're going to put us in a position to continue to expand our business. They would do the same for you once you're the right stage of business. Training and coaching. I'm a member of a group called Vistage. Been so busy here recently, I hate to say it, I haven't been going, but just re-met with the guy this morning, the chair of the company. We've got an event coming up on Tuesday that I'm going to be attending, getting picked back up on. It's $1,200 a month to be a member of that. Now we get some great online resources. You get the networking opportunities are absolutely amazing. I haven't done a great job actually utilizing it, but you got high-powered business owners and CEOs that are members of that group. That right there, even though I have only utilized it maybe a tenth of what I probably should have, has paid off tenfold. Not only in a few introductions that have been made that we've some business partnership stuff that's been gleaned from it, but also just from a mindset, from an improvement mindset. When I joined that group 2 years ago, I've come a long way on improvements in leadership and business ownership and focus, and a lot of that can be traced back there. So you have to look at things from a value standpoint. If you look at things from a value standpoint, then you're going to make much better decisions and you're gonna build a great business. If you look at things from just, I don't want to spend X amount more, that's a scarcity mindset. You're thinking there's a scarce amount of resources out there and you're putting a cap on your business. Next, we're actually going to go into discussing how you actually go out and get those resources. I want to see if we have any questions or comments or anything. Guys, if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to post them. We're going to make sure we get to them throughout the show, especially at the end before we wrap. It can be about this topic or it can be about any other topic that you might have in mind. So how do you go out and actually get the resources, the abundant resources that are out there, whether it's money or time, people, whatever? How do you actually go out there and get it? You must provide value that is a multiple of your cost. And this is a business, this is a team member, employee, whatever you want to call, you need to be providing value that is a multiple of what you actually cost. So, in our truck body business the other day, we had somebody quit, and this guy, he's only been with us for a week or so. He was hired as a welder, but we make sure we tell people, listen, we're a small business. We're a small company. We don't have this massive production line going on where all you're going to be doing is welding. Sometimes you might be having to prep a body for paint. Sometimes you might have to help unload the metal truck. Sometimes you might have a new piece of equipment that you got to help set up. Sometimes you're going to have to pick up a broom and sweep the floor. Not sometimes, that's every day. You're going to have to pick up a broom and sweep the floor. You might have to grab a little cleaner and wipe the toilet down at some point. So you have to be willing to do all the different parts to make this business grow. Well, he was asked to prep a truck for paint, which is essentially just taking 220 grit sandpaper, an orbital sander, and just going around and getting that body kind of roughed in and cleaned up and ready for paint. And he said, "Man, I'm a welder. I don't get paid to paint, or paint for prep." Well, we just kind of said, well, right now we got to have all hands on deck to get these trucks out. We're a small business, and it just ain't gonna be a great fit. He very much had a scarcity mindset. He didn't recognize, all right, I'm in a ground floor. He's the fifth team member of truck bodies. He didn't say, you know what, I'm at the ground floor of what's eventually going to be a pretty good sized business that's doing some neat stuff on the manufacturing end that other truck body companies aren't really doing. And if I do this stuff, maybe I don't like doing it. Maybe I don't like prepping trucks. Nobody likes prepping a truck. Maybe I don't like doing this, but if I do this, and maybe I'm doing more work than I'm being paid for right now, but there's an opportunity, or maybe I'm providing more value than I'm being paid for. There's an opportunity coming up, and if I provide that extra value at some time, relatively quickly, it's going to come back around to me. You become infinitely more valuable. You gain leverage at that point if you're providing more value. From a customer into things, junk removal authority. If we charge SEO and Google Ads maybe $1,600-1,700 a month, and then you got your website on top of that and all. It's $1,500 to $2,000 a month, depending on what you're doing. If you're doing just ads, it's less. But let's say you go in, you do the whole shebang, which everybody should be doing because that's what junk doctors build. If you're at that amount, if we're charging $1,500 a month for those services, we better be making that person 3, 4, 6 times what they're actually spending on all those services, a multiple of the value we're providing. Otherwise, they're going to drop us. They're not in business just to make money. They're doing business with you because they want to use your service, and that is going to provide them with a value that they perceive to be greater than what they're actually spending. On junk removal, what they're evaluating is, should I spend $400 with a junk removal company, or should I take the time out of my day and risk hurting my back, risk denting my walls, and I have to fix it or hire somebody to fix it instead of the company, risk something blowing out of my vehicle, risk taking the time to rent a truck. Where's the value? So what you have to do is you have to make sure your junk removal business is, one, it's being found by the right people, and two, once it's being found by the right people, that you're giving them exactly or giving them more than what they really expect. Clean-cut team members that are personable, team members that are careful, team members that don't look like they're going to come back and rob somebody's house. Sweep up after you're done. If you do all those things, you're going to exceed their expectations. You're going to provide more value than they think they paid for, and then at that point, you really, really, really become very much in demand. So if you're a team member, let's say you're an employee, let's say you're not a business owner, then at that point, what do you do? Well, listen, what you do at that point is you help your company get more customers. You help them retain customers longer. You improve other employees' performance and longevity. You find ways to provide value first, and then at that point, that's when additional income will flow to you. And at that point, you become a lot more. You've got more leverage. So most likely, your business, your manager would recognize it and move you on up. If not, then at that point, you go to them and say, "Hey, look at the stuff that I've been doing," and y'all kind of work it out. So that's very much an abundance mindset. Scarcity mindset is going to really put a cap on what you can really get. Junk removal. All the time we hear people talk about, hey, so many new junk removal companies are coming in here. So many more junk removal companies are popping up in my market. There's not a limited supply of customers out there. The junk removal industry as a whole is growing every single year. The new companies are barely keeping up with the increased demand. It's up to you to go out there and do a very good job and get yourself out there to where you're getting a large majority of what's kind of coming in. But you don't have to hold back another guy. You gotta outperform him. If you take the steps that are necessary that you know you need to take to be successful, if you learn not to kind of crush that fear of scarcity, then the pieces will fall in place and you'll become successful. That is a very hard thing to do, and it's not automatic. You're not going to listen to this. You're not going to read books on this topic and all of a sudden go from a scarcity mindset to an abundance. You have to work on it a little at a time. You just do. You have to build up confidence. You have to see some level of success before it's actually going to work. When we started, one of the things that's held us back, we've got the 3 companies that we've got right now. We set a goal of $10 million this year on those 3 businesses. We're going to come up short of that. We might do about $9 million or so on those 3 individual businesses, and maybe even eight, somewhere between 8 and 9. Those businesses right there. One of the things that probably is sort of contributed to us not hitting our initial goal is still I fight with this concept a little bit right now. So it takes me some time sometimes when I think about, all right, this is what we need to do to become successful. Let's take the affiliate manager. The affiliate managers, I think about that as, yeah, this is what we need. And then all of a sudden I start thinking about what it's going to cost and how that's going to affect the bottom line. And you've got to immediately crush that. I can't tell you exactly how. All I know is you have to find a way over time to say, well, you know what? This is what we need to do. This is the specifications that we're going to lay out, the requirements, the expectations we're going to lay out for this individual. If this person doesn't meet those expectations, we're going to go out, we're going to find somebody else. And maybe we get 2 people, so they kind of compete against each other. So that is, and by spending that amount of money, it's going to allow us to take that next step. If we truly believe there's an abundance out there, we need talented people, and we need enough people in the right positions to really make this happen. One of the other things that's held back is for a while I used to, and I still, again, fight a little bit on this now, is sometimes we'll look for people, for people that earn a lower amount of money so we can get them cheaper. And we've had great success in many of those cases on getting those cheaper people and developing them up into more expensive individuals that are providing a lot. But there's a good chance that oftentimes, in order for somebody to be developed, they need to be shown what needs to get done. They need to have somebody there that can give them the answers for how they can best realize their potential. And if you're hiring people that are more that if you're getting people and you want them to be better at something than you are, then at that point, oftentimes you might have to go more expensive and find somebody that has the skill sets you don't have, or you take the people you have now and you find them the resources that can show them things that you don't know, and you spend the money on that, and you allow them to really grow. So that the muscle, the abundance mindset is a muscle. You work on it a little bit every single day. And if you do that, if you get away from the scarcity mindset, your business is going to grow much quicker and much larger than you ever expected. Just the other day, I was talking to an individual, hasn't even opened yet. We're finishing up his truck. It's a beautiful red color, absolutely beautiful red color. This truck is going to look amazing. And I was on the phone with him, and we were talking about the insurance cost has gone up. If you guys hadn't noticed, insurance has gone absolutely insane in the junk removal industry. If your insurance hasn't gone up, and if it's not insane, it's because you're on a personal automotive policy and not a commercial automotive policy, and you're going to get all ripped up and beat up when you have a problem later on down the line and an insurance company denies your claim. So anyways, talking about how expensive it is. He said, man, this is more than I thought it was going to be. I told him, yeah, it's gone up. Last 6 months it's gone up. This is more than was projected when you talked to me. We talked 6 months ago. He said, all right. He said, when do I need to get a second truck? I said, Mike, Mike, hey, if you'd asked me this question several months ago, I might have told you to wait, get started with this one truck, see how things go. I would have. I'm the guy up here all the time talking about growth, but that was the advice I was given several months ago. A few things have happened since then. One, there's a young kid south of here that started out, and I'm not going to share revenue figures, but not even 2 years into operation, the dude's at 4 trucks. Guy up north of here, not very, very north, but north of North Carolina, came in. He's run another successful business. Came in within second year, 4 trucks. He's doing some really, really unique stuff. The first guy I was talking about down south of here, 19-year-old. He's 19 years old. He's got a business that is keeping 4 trucks pretty much consistently busy. Absolutely insane. And then we had Sam Schick come in from build up a $10 million a year 1-800-GOT-JUNK business. That was just, 2 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago, Matt? Built up a $10 million a year 1-800-GOT-JUNK location in Chicago. 25 trucks, $10 million a year. It's the second largest junk removal company that's ever been created, location behind Toronto. Toronto Got Junk does about 20 million Canadian dollars. That's about 14 million US dollars every single year. And when speaking with Sam talked about when he first started his business, he thought about doing just one truck. And he said, you know what, I don't plan on just staying at one truck. Why wait? Why should I wait on getting those extra employees, on getting that extra truck? I'm not going to be a one truck operator. Why wait? He said, so I decided I was going to go ahead and buy 2. That's what I told Mike. I said, Mike, listen, I was like, what kind of revenue, what kind of revenue figures are you wanting? And he tells me, and it's significant. It's significant enough that I'm a little worried he's not going to be able to hit it. And I told him that. I said, listen, you can hit it, but you're going to have to go after it. And honestly, you need a truck immediately. Because if you're going to hit the revenue target that you're wanting to do within the first 12 months, you ain't going to do it on one truck. And honestly, you better get that second truck pretty busy within the first handful of months, first 6 months of operation anyway, if you're going to come close to hitting that revenue target. So you need to go now. He said, all right, let's do it. He was just talking about the cost of insurance and how it's so much higher than what he expected. It was ridiculous, like $14,000 for the year for insurance on this one truck. He said, man, it's more. But then the next sentence, you know what, that's not where I'm going to stay. Let's get a second truck. That is an abundance mindset, and that's why he is going to build an amazing business, an amazing junk removal company. And that's why, one of the reasons I've changed my tune is because I've seen some of these infectious personalities that are just going out and they're doing what needs to be done without, they're just crushing fear. It's not that they don't have fear, they're crushing it, and they're being successful. If you want to accomplish something, figure out how to go out and get that abundant resources to make it happen and crush your fear, and you're going to be extremely successful. And you might be on this show one day talking about how you build up a 25 truck, $10 million a year junk removal business. What kind of questions we got?
We got a question from Chris M. from Pennsylvania. He says, if you only had $50,000 saved from part-time junk removal, would you put that towards a new truck and finance the rest, or keep saving till you can get it all cash or going slightly used?
So I love Dave Ramsey. I agree with about 80% of what he says. Great question, by the way, Chris. I would put as little money as down as possible on a truck. I would get that truck, and I might even look at getting a second truck as soon as I can. I would increase advertising spend and whatever I'm doing that's building in business. By the way, if you've saved up $50K off junk removal, you're doing something right. So you need to figure out, how can I do more of what I'm already doing, and then what things are out there that I'm not doing. So you got to get the truck, and then you got to get the truck busy. You got to get the people. If you're currently on the truck all the time, you're going to have the insurance that you're going to need to get, workers' compensation insurance you might not have already. So there's several steps in between to get that truck busy. And there's going to be a period of time you're going to make less money before you make more. Without a question, I'd figure out what's the minimum amount of money I can put down. I'd order a truck. I'd get the people needed. I'd increase my advertising, and I'd build the business up. Great question. All right, guys. Hey, appreciate everybody watching this show today. Hope you found it to be an abundance of value. And if we can ever help you, check us out at 919-617-1975. Hey, if you guys know anybody that has been successful in a service industry business, plumbing, roofing, HVAC, going down the line. What's some other ones? Painting. I don't know why I'm driving up. Chimney sweeping, mold remediation. If you know somebody that's been successful in one of those industries, they build up a business that can run without them, probably is going to do at least $1 million a year in sales, and they might be at least decent in front of a camera, and they're looking to create a long-term, semi-passive income stream, then let them know about us, let them know about Inzone, and we'd love to talk because we think if they're interested, we've got kind of some neat stuff going on over here. We might be able to help them, help hundreds or thousands of other people just like Jerry's doing. Hey, we'll see you next week, Tuesday, 12 noon Eastern time. Thanks for coming. Have you built a great American business? What if you could take that business and that expertise and help hundreds or thousands of other people become successful in your field while you yourself earn a semi-passive, long-term income? Here at Inzone, we help successful people help others become successful. It all started 10 years ago when I founded Junk Doctors Junk Removal and Hauling and built it into a multi-truck, multi-location company that makes several $1 million a year. We took that expertise and we formed Junk Removal Authority, which has helped hundreds of people become junk removal business owners and become more successful in junk removal. Now, here at Inzone, we're going to take that JRA model and we're going to replicate it in your industry. If you have just a few hours a month and you think you have what it takes to help hundreds or thousands of other people become successful, and you desire a long-term, semi-passive residual income, all you got to do is click on the link and let's find out if Inzone and you are a great fit.